Football is changing, and these new rules are coming into play for the FIFA World Cup 2026. We're talking countdowns for throw-ins, stricter substitutions, more VAR interventions, and even referee body cams. So in this video, I'm going to break down what's changing, why it matters, and how it's going to affect you as a fan watching this year's World Cup. Let's start with one of the biggest changes, time wasting. Last season, we already saw changes to the way football is played by introducing the new 8-second rule, whereby if a goalkeeper held the ball for longer than 8 seconds, a corner would be awarded to the opposing team. I could probably count on one hand how many times I've seen that this season, so it's obviously having a good effect. But now it's being extended to throw-ins and goal kicks. If the referee deems that a player is taking too long to take the restart, they will issue a visual 5-second countdown. If a throw-in isn't taken in time, the possession will switch, and if a goal kick is delayed, it becomes a corner to the opposition. I think for fans this is massive, because giving a yellow card for delaying the restart just carries on delaying the restart, and so this should hopefully be a good deterrent to players to get the game going. Ultimately, as football fans, we want to see football. And again, on the topic of time wasting, IFAB are making changes to the substitution process. Under the current laws, players have to leave the pitch at the nearest point. However, there's no clear amount of time that they have to leave the field of play. It's only deemed delaying the restart if a player takes excessive time. So now players will be counted down for their substitutions, and we believe it's going to be around 10 seconds. If they don't leave the field of play within this 10 seconds, they will still have to go off the pitch. However, the player being substituted on will have to wait on the sidelines for 1 minute before being able to enter the field of play. This is clearly aimed at stopping players really taking their time late in the game when teams are making substitutions. And so you're probably going to see referees be a lot stricter on this, especially late in the game. And another big one that people are getting very, very frustrated about is injuries. As we know, we've got a bit of a problem at the moment with the goalkeeper going down, pretending to be injured, and all the players going to the coaches to get some information and a tactical break. Unfortunately, this is not being stopped in the World Cup. However, they are trying to tackle this with other players on the pitch. So if players stopped, for a player to be assessed by the physio, they will need to be removed from the field of play for at least 1 minute. This really is designed to reduce the number of fake injuries and the tactical stoppages that we're getting in the game. It's a big deterrent to go down to 10 men, and so you're probably going to see a lot less players faking injuries. However, goalkeepers are exempt from this, so is it really going to solve the issue? Let's see. So now on to VAR, and this is where it gets really, really interesting. Well, for me, a referee anyway. When IFAB got together this year to discuss the new laws of the game, VAR was a massive, massive talking point. And there are a few things that they're changing going into this year's World Cup. Now, VAR is going to be used more than ever for things like second yellow cards. Under the current VAR protocol, they could only get involved in red cards. However, now they can get involved for clear mistakes on a second yellow card. They can also now get involved for mistaken identity. So if a card is given to the wrong player, and competitions will now also have the option to have VAR intervene on corner kicks. Corner kicks will only be changed if it's a clear error and it can be fixed without delaying the restart. I think this is a really interesting one, and it shows how VAR is trying to remove errors without delaying the restart of the game. Referees are now allowed to wear body cameras. Well, not quite. Under the current laws of the game, referees are not allowed to wear any extra electronic equipment other than the compulsory equipment they use in their match days. Things like a watch, communication system, buzzer flags, etc, etc. However, referees can now use body cams, but only if provided by the competition, and the footage must be controlled by the competition. So you're not going to have referees rocking up with GoPros on their chest. However, this could bring a really amazing perspective to fans watching the game, and can also be a great tool for learning and development for future referees. And last but not least, there's a massive change to dogso, denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity. Typically, a dogso offence results in a red card. There are a few caveats, but this isn't the video for that. Under the current laws, if the referee plays advantage from a dogso offence and the team scores a goal, that red card is downgraded to a yellow card. However, under the new laws, no card will be issued at all, as the goal scoring opportunity has obviously not been denied. It's not quite as simple as that. Some different types of challenges will still result in a yellow card. However, if it's a run-of-the-mill foul and it still ends up in being a goal, then no card will be issued. I think this is a good change, it's logical, and it makes sense to me. And there are some some other key changes. Some previously banned equipment will now be allowed to be worn as long as it's not dangerous and it's covered. Drop balls have been clarified, so the ball will be dropped to the team that were expected to have possession when play was stopped. There's been some additional clarification on double touches from penalties, and outside of the World Cup, international friendlies are now allowed to have up to 8 substitutions and maybe even 11 if both teams agree. So overall, these changes are really focused on one thing: more football for the fans. But the real question is, will this actually work? Or will players just find a new way to delay the game? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you want to see my journey to becoming a professional referee, make sure to subscribe down below. Thank you.